I now look at it and go, yeah, this is just part of it, man. This is the difficulty that is going to cause a transformation that is leading me to the success that I want. This is a message for you if you're out there working in the thick of it, battling to build something, working really hard just to get the business off the ground, to improve yourself, and feeling like you're not making any progress. This is something that I know that a lot of us guys struggle with, is this, especially when you're starting something new. You get started and you put in so much effort and you don't see any progress. You don't see any sort of results in that, in the first months of working really, really hard, and it can start to become really discouraging because you think, well, I need to have some sort of results, that I must be doing something wrong if I'm not seeing any sort of results from all of this work. I just wanted to talk about the hero's journey and how, if you start to see yourself as somebody you start to see yourself as the hero of your life and start to see the pattern of behavior, this journey that you go on as just as that archetypal story, then it can start to feel a lot more, you can be more encouraged to keep going. This is what I've experienced in my life when I've started to feel really stuck, is to stop and ask myself, or to point out to myself that this is just part of what any successful person goes through. This is the journey that they go through to becoming successful. And that success is on the other side of this experience. Hello. And when the hero's journey is one of leaving comfort. So you've made a decision at some point in your life to do something differently. Maybe you had a reasonable paying job, but you were unhappy. Or maybe you were happy enough, but you knew that there was more that you could give. And you've left that job and you've started a business, and now it just sucks. It's so much harder. You're working harder hours or longer hours for way less pay, and you're starting to wonder whether it was the right decision, whether it was worth it. Maybe you've really made a fuck up in your life, and now you're paying the price for that. Well, just recognize that this is the dip. The first part of the hero's journey is leaving comfort. The second part is the descent into hell, into trouble and challenge and strife. And that's the stage that you're in now. But it's through that stage that you're going to experience the transformation that you need to experience, that is going to allow you to come out of that hell, that hole, that pit, changed, transformed, and experiencing the rewards of that transformation. It's through that descent and transformation that you are able to become successful. And there is no way around it. I think this is something that I've experienced in my life, is you think, because we can compare ourselves to people doing really well in life, and we look at them and we think, oh, well, they've just managed to have overnight success. They've managed to bypass this challenging stage. But it's just simply not the case. Anybody who has made something for themselves, who has become successful in business, has had to go through this phase that you are in, that I am in right now. And when you accept that and acknowledge that where you are right now is part of the journey, is part of the process to becoming successful, it, at least in my eyes, it just becomes so much easier to keep going. Because instead of me looking at this challenge and thinking, gosh, the fact that it's so difficult must mean that I'm doing something wrong, instead of seeing it in that light, I now look at it and go, yeah, this is just part of it, man. This is the difficulty that is going to cause a transformation that is leading me to the success that I want. And I just think that's so powerful. I think it's so useful to when you're starting to feel disempowered and disincentivized by the difficulty that you're going through, just to take a moment and go, oh no, wait, hang on a minute. This isn't a bug, it's a feature, right? This is part of the plan. This is the universe's process of molding me into what I need to be. And when you take that approach, at least for me, when I see myself as that, the person that is willing and able to go into hell, to transform and to become stronger and come out the other side and achieve the success that I want, then I feel so much more empowered. I feel so much more empowered. And I just think that it's not voiced often enough, or it's not articulated often enough, that is part of the process. It's a necessary step, and nobody is really able to avoid that. And I think probably the people that do appear to avoid that sometimes end up paying the price for that later on, because if they have experienced true overnight success, which I think is so rare, that shouldn't be the yardstick to measure yourself by. But those who do experience overnight success, they end up going into hell later on down the line. They can't avoid it, it just is delayed. And you see people like, I don't know if you could say that Justin Bieber, for example, I know, funny example to use, but it just came to mind. I don't know if you could say that he really avoided or really experienced overnight success, because he still, all things considered, had to work very, very hard to become as successful as he is. But he certainly paid the price for that massive success that he experienced early on. It obviously had a huge negative impact on his mind and everything else. And he went through that hell for years. And so I don't think that even if you experience overnight success, you can avoid that pain and that transformative process. I just think that it's sometimes delayed. So instead of seeing yourself as, and the journey that you're on as having gone in the wrong direction because it's so difficult, recognize that the fact that it's difficult is the very reason that it's going to transform you into who you need to be. And the fact that it's difficult is the reason that it's worthwhile and is leading to something of value. The things that are of value require work. They're difficult to come by. If it was easy to get, it wouldn't be worth anything. So the fact that it's difficult ensures that what you're working towards is valuable. I like what Jordan Peterson says, which is, every pot of gold has a dragon. He also says not every dragon has a pot of gold, but every pot of gold, everything that's worthwhile acquiring, has a dragon you have to slay. Just see yourself as in the process of slaying that dragon, and know that if you don't quit, you can't lose. And eventually you will slay the dragon, and eventually you will get the gold. All right, I hope that's been useful. Let me know what you think. If you want help in this process of building a business and being around other men who support and encourage each other, check out the link in the description to my free online community. If you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps the channel, and I will see you in the next one. All right, till then, peace.